Everybody should have their own home gym. There's really no exceptions. No matter what your excuse is for not having a home gym, this video right here is going to convince you to start one. So sit down, take some notes, maybe hit that subscribe button, and let me persuade you. I'm a fairly new home gym owner, so I'm not unlike many of you. I used to scoff so hard at home gyms. I thought they were ridiculous. The idea of working out alone in your garage or basement, I thought was so inferior to commercial gyms. I always associated the hardcore old school gyms that I would find myself in with the likes of Arnold, and somewhere deep down, I was assuming that if I worked out in those gyms, I would see those kinds of results, and well, that's not how it works. I never thought that working out at home would even be for me. I am a bit of a hermit as a person. I am not very social. I am extremely introverted, and I've struggled with social anxiety in the past, which meant panic attacks just being out in public. I'm in a much better place now, but it seemed like working out by myself at home without any social interaction would be a really bad idea for me. So I always prided myself on going to a commercial gym, thinking that that was the right thing for me to be doing. But then lockdowns happened in 2020, and it forced me to not only work out from home, but find my own home gym equipment. I was starting from absolutely nothing, and I knew nothing about building a home gym. I just knew that, well, I want to be able to do the same things I do in a commercial gym at home. Unfortunately, everybody else was in the same boat as me during lockdowns, and it was real slim pickings for equipment, so I had to make do with pretty much nothing. Now, what you see behind me here is a pretty solid setup. It's been 4 years in the making, and it certainly did not start out that way. I started out with an ottoman. I was using chairs to rack, which I'm not proud of this. I am not proud of this. I do not condone this, but desperate times. Eventually, I ended up getting a cheaper squat rack, so I was able to use that with a cheap weight set and barbell that I had. So I had the bare minimum, and then slowly from there, I started adding more and more. As time went on and I've learned about my needs and my own home gym, I've been able to upgrade, and now what you see here, I am very happy with, but it was baby steps over 4 years to get to this point. And now, needless to say, I love home gyms, and I see the appeal for everybody. No matter what situation you're in, I see the appeal of having some kind of a home gym, which is what I want to talk to you about here. And before I dive in, I do need to acknowledge that I know there are people out there that love the camaraderie and the competitiveness and the social aspect of going to a gym. And I acknowledge that you cannot get that at home. There is no substitute for that. If you need other people pumping you up, if you just need the atmosphere of a gym, you can't get that at home. And I know that. And in those cases, yes, a commercial gym is far superior. But to that note, I do think that having some kind of supplemental gym in your house, even if it's something small, is hugely beneficial. It doesn't need to be extravagant by any means, and it doesn't need to replace you going to the gym. Just knowing that no matter what life throws at you, you always have the option to get in a workout is huge. And I've heard all of the arguments against home gyms, so I want to address the pros of having a home gym and some cons. I want to talk about the cost, I want to talk about the lack of space, and then I want to talk about just the overall enjoyment of owning your own home gym, because to me, that part's invaluable. The benefits of having your own home gym, they go far beyond simply being able to work out in your underwear at home. Although, a big benefit. Now, maybe you love people, but people are kind of the worst. And when you work out at home, you do not have to deal with people. You do not have to clean up after other people. You do not need to re-rack for other people. You don't need to listen to somebody's weird dream that they had when you're mid-set. You don't have to listen to gross locker room talk. It's just you, baby. Personally, I love supersetting and jumping from exercise to exercise with little rest in between. And in a commercial gym, that is extremely difficult to do, because then you're the dick that's taking up a million machines in the gym and other people want to use them. But at home, I could set up 6 different exercises and go back to back to back to back to back to back, and nobody is affected by it. Of course, you can work out whenever you want, early morning, late at night, during peak hours. You can do chest on International Chest Day, which, if you don't know, is Monday, when the entire world decides they want to bench press. You could do that at home, and you do not have to worry that the bench is going to be taken. The gym's never going to close, so there's a tornado outside, there's a snowstorm, doesn't matter, your gym's open. A hugely underrated benefit that not a lot of people realize is, come here, you get to poop comfortably on your own toilet. I mean, my last gym had the grossest locker room bathroom in the world, a single toilet for all the guys working out in the gym. Disgusting. But now, if I need to do a little during my workout, I just go over to the bathroom, do my business, and come back. It's a beautiful thing. There's the time-saving aspect as well, where you're saving time on a commute. Now, for some people, that's 30 minutes. For some people, that's 5 minutes. But either way, when you consider getting ready, driving to the gym, getting into the locker room to put your stuff away, the gym I used to go to was 5 minutes down the road. But still, when you account for all of the things door to door, you're probably looking at an extra 30 minutes. When now, I roll out of bed at 4:30 in the morning. By 5 o'clock, I am into my workout. So it saves a ton of time just being able to roll out of bed, or after a busy work day, just being able to come home, have dinner, and then work out afterwards without needing to go back out. That's a pretty great thing in my opinion. Another benefit is wearing whatever you want. There are no restrictions on what you can or can't wear. So you want to work out in your underwear? By all means, work out in your underwear. You want to squat barefoot? You can do that, and you do not have to worry that you're going to get hepatitis. Now, I will admit, having a home gym is not all sunshine and rainbows. There are downsides. It wouldn't be fair if I did not acknowledge the few downsides that there are. Safety is probably the biggest thing when you're working out at home by yourself. Safety is gonna be a concern in your power rack. You have to make sure that your spotter arms are set up properly. You need to know how to fail correctly if you are doing squats. You need to know how to bail without hurting yourself. That is a pretty big difference from being in a gym where you are surrounded by people who could spot you at any moment. And not having a spotter is sometimes a big deal. When you have a spotter, you can get that last rep or two in. And when you're by yourself and you start struggling, that's when you're gonna rack the weight because you're not gonna take the chance. If you have somebody there with you, you can get those extra few reps. Now, most of us live with somebody, whether it's a roommate or a spouse, somebody that could stand there just in case something goes wrong, but you're not gonna get that same motivation that you would get from a gym buddy. And another downside that I didn't consider is that you are responsible for cleaning. Something that I took for granted at my other gyms that I would go to, that they would have people clean overnight and early in the morning, that I would never even think about it. I have a dog, so a ton of dog hair collects in my home gym, and I am in the basement, so I have a lot of creepy, crawly gym buddies down here. It doesn't bother me, but if you are anti-spider, anti-stink bug, I think I still have a stink bug living in my rack. It's pretty gross depending on where you are. Maybe your basement's finished, maybe you're in a garage that's fully insulated. You may have less bugs in the basement. I have quite a few bugs. So between that and needing to mop and clean up, I didn't really think about that going into this. Now, not a huge deal, but still something to consider. And obviously the two big downsides for most people are a lack of budget and a lack of space. So let's talk about them. Now, I think I'm gonna dedicate a different video entirely to my specific setup and the exact cost so you can get an idea. I don't wanna waste time running through that. I wanna run through different examples and different tiers of home gyms. I would consider the 4 tiers to be the bare minimum, the low-end home gym, the solid home gym, and the insanely awesome, gigantic professional home gym. I'm gonna give you really rough estimates. Now, these are rough estimates. There are a million different brands out there. There are a million different variations and sizing and so many different variables going into each specific piece of equipment that I could never tell you exactly how much a home gym is going to cost you. But we can roughly estimate, so let's do that. Now, for the bare minimum, your super basic home gym, you can have some resistance bands, a set of dumbbells, some kind of exercise mat so you don't have to worry about flooring, a stability ball, and a jump rope. You could also have a pull-up bar in your door, things like that. I'm considering this to be, you do not have a dedicated space for a home gym. This is kind of just stuff you can tuck into the living room and take it out for a quick home workout. So the total cost for that, depending on what you get, will be a few $100s. And then we can go a step up from that, a low-end home gym where you have a dedicated space, but still super, super minimal. You would have some adjustable dumbbells that would take the place of multiple sets. We'll throw in a set of kettlebells. You can get a 10, 20, and 30-pound kettlebell for rep under $150. So that would be a great route to go. We'll go with a basic barbell and weight plate set. For something basic, $200 to $500 feels fair. We'll go with an adjustable weight bench and then squat stands. Now with squat stands, those take the place of a full power rack because it's cheaper. You can get super cheap squat stands on Amazon. You could also get super cheap racks. So it kind of all lumps into one. This total cost is going to be closer to about $1,000. It's gonna go one way or the other depending on your equipment, but around $1,000 for the low end of a home gym. And then beyond that, I would consider a solid home gym to be what I have. Now those costs are gonna be all over the place. For any kind of solid home gym setup with a dedicated space, you would have a power rack or squat rack. You would have a decent Olympic barbell and weight plates. Now obviously the cost of weight plates is gonna vary significantly depending on how much weight you have, because you're gonna pay based on how much weight you buy. Adjustable weight bench, a full set of dumbbells or a really nice pair of adjustable dumbbells. Go with a set of kettlebells. We'll throw in a cardio machine, a treadmill or a stationary bike, or a rower would fit into that as well. Add in a cable machine, a multifunction machine, a functional trainer, cables. And then we'll also throw in a specialty bar of some kind because like I have a multi-grip bar. I think having one additional bar to add to your arsenal other than just a regular barbell is really beneficial. $3,000 on the low end, anywhere up to close to $12,000 I think on the higher end. My setup is probably more on the higher end when you take into account everything I have, but there's a wide range there. And then if we wanted to take it one step higher, we have the fully awesome, professional, gigantic home gym. And when you're dealing with commercial grade equipment, I mean, there's any number of thousands of different machines you could choose from. You're looking at anywhere between like $8,000 and $22,000. Again, a wide range, but you're going one step up, going commercial quality. So you're essentially gonna double the cost of what you would have just like what I have. A more basic setup, you'll double that at least if you wanna go with the commercial route. And now I know what people do with home gym costs. They break down every dollar that they've spent to figure out the monthly cost to compare it to going to a commercial gym to determine if having a home gym is cheaper than going to a commercial gym. Now I want you to listen to me very closely. Comparing the cost of a home gym to a gym membership is stupid. People play this game with themselves all the time, and I'm here to tell you that it is an absolutely worthless exercise. I did the math on my own home gym, so you don't have to sit there and try to do the math to argue with me. I've been working out at home for almost 4 years, doing a rough estimate of what my gym cost me. That's about $200 per month if I wanted to compare it to a gym membership. The gym I was going to previously was about $20 a month, so that's 10 times more expensive than my gym membership. When you look at it through that light, then yes, it doesn't seem worth it at all. Look, a gym membership is always going to be cheaper. They buy a bunch of equipment and they sell memberships to thousands of people to cover the cost. At home, you are the only person working out. It is all for you, so you cannot divide that thousands of ways. If your gym costs you $20 a month, it would take you 42 years to get to $10,000 spent. Now I know you have to take into account the commute and the gas and blah, blah, but 42 years versus building a $10,000-ish home gym in 4 years, it sounds crazy. But for some reason, building a home gym is the only hobby where we try to justify the cost this way, and I do not get it. There are people out there who buy and restore old cars. It takes them years. They spend tens of thousands of dollars on it before they could even take it on the road to drive it. Could you imagine if we were out here trying to compare the cost of that to public transportation like a bus or a subway? Obviously one is cheaper, but it's not about the transportation. It is a hobby. It is something they enjoy. It's not just about the cost. Or people that love reading, that build this beautiful library in their home filled with all the books they've read throughout their life. Could you imagine going up to that person and being like, well, a public library would be a lot cheaper. Obviously, it's cheaper to read books for free and not build your own library, but it's something that people enjoy that you really cannot put a price on, especially comparing it to a free option. And yet with building a home gym, we don't look at it as a hobby, even though it's probably the healthiest hobby you could possibly have. We're out here comparing it to a gym membership and saying that it is way more money, so it's not worth it, which just does not compute. And on the topic, before I wrap up the whole cost thing, It's also important to note that I have built my home gym in stages. I've added little pieces of equipment over time. I did not drop $10,000 at one time. I would not personally be able to justify spending thousands of dollars at a time. Even if you're budgeting $2,000 for your full home gym, don't think that you need to spend it all at once. There's always opportunity to upgrade going forward. So we covered the cost. That's probably the biggest hurdle for most people, but the second biggest hurdle I would say is the space or lack thereof. I would love nothing more than to build out this beautiful iron paradise like The Rock has built for himself. But unfortunately for me, I am just in a corner of my basement with low ceilings. I'm trying to keep everything as contained as possible because I don't want to make my wife angry. So I am no stranger to limitations. This area that I'm sitting in right here is 12 by 8. I have one additional area over there for storage. It's got my leg extension machine and just my cable attachments. It's roughly 6 by 4. It is a small space right over there. That means my home gym is 120 square feet. For perspective, a one-car garage is about 12 by 22. According to my math, that is 264 square feet. That is more than double of what I'm working with here. So I am working with less than half of a one-car garage. And yet, I feel like I have everything I need in my home gym. If you are working with limited space, there are a ton of different ways that you can make the most of a small space. And as the home gym market continues to evolve, there are so many space-saving solutions coming out. There are so many racks now that are all in one, that they have a Smith machine, cables, all these rack attachments all in one compact solution. There are racks that fold out from the wall. So if you have no space at all, you can park in your garage, and then when you pull the car out, you can then take the rack out and you'll be good to go. So budget and space will not be make or break. You can make it work even if you're in a studio apartment. There is some kind of solution for a home gym. But the last point I want to make just about having your own home gym is that it's yours. It is your gym. I don't care about cars. I don't care about the clothes I wear. I buy cheap shoes on Amazon. I don't upgrade my phone every year. I just don't really care about having nice things very much. But I love my home gym. Before building out my home gym, I didn't really understand the badge of honor that came with having a home gym. But now having my own home gym, making it exactly what I want it to be, it's special. You get to tailor your space to your training style, your personality, and make it uniquely yours. You can put dumb posters on your wall. You can get really insane lighting for no good reason other than it looks really cool, and nobody can judge you for it. It's yours. I've always had fun in the gym, but when you have your own home gym, man, it's just next level. So if nothing else, if you are passionate about fitness and you love working out, you get to build your own little sanctuary around exactly who you are and what you want to build. To me, you can't put a price on that. You may need the camaraderie, you may need the social aspect of going to a commercial gym. And in those cases, having a home gym, it might not be for you. But even in those cases, having a supplemental home gym, it's worth it. If you're competing for a powerlifting meet, sometimes things are gonna happen where you can't make it to the gym, and you can stick to your program by being able to work out at home. Even if it means just a barbell and squat rack and nothing else, you can get your lifts in. During a deload week, when you're just going through the motions and you don't need to be going to the gym, you can just do that at home and save a ton of time. There are so many different situations. It's obviously unique to each person, but having a home gym is worth it for everybody. You do not have to spend tens of thousands of dollars on the home gym of your dreams. You could spend a couple $100s, make it uniquely yours, and have your own sanctuary at home. And as always, I want to hear from you guys. Tell me about your home gym experience. Have you always had a home gym? And what made you start your home gym? Because for me, I was forced into it, but now there is no looking back. And if you haven't yet started your own home gym, what are you waiting for? Seriously, what are you waiting for? Just start. Just do it. All right, that's it now. See ya. Scat, shoo, get out of here. Go.